Now, you've first cleaned your machine. Second, you've threaded it. It's all ready. Now, what do all these dials mean? So today is part 4, and these dials on my 831 Bernina are going to be slightly different than other machines, but hopefully you can take this material that I'm giving you and you can use it and apply it to your dials on your machine. If you can't figure it out, please feel free to send me an email, thebluekeystone@yahoo.com, and I will be more than happy to try to help you as best I can. Enjoy the video. This dial right here is your stitch length. How far when you stitch it goes. So if I go up to the 1 and the 0, it's going to go very, 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 very small stitches. If I go down to the 4, you'll see the fabric will go through faster because it's taking longer steps, I guess you could say. Shorter steps, the shorter the number, the shorter the step. The larger the number, the larger the step. See how much faster? See how much faster that went through? You can see the little tiny stitches and then the longer stitches here. This is just your stitch length. Most machines you want it at 2.5. Most older machines you want it at 2.5. Even the newer machine that I purchased at Walmart, I had it at 2.5. This style is if you are doing a buttonhole. We'll come back to that. This style is how much you want it to zigzag. You want no zigzag, you have 0. You want a little zigzag, you do 1. And notice it's going just a little bit back and forth. You can see my little zigzag. I want a big zigzag. And there it is, a big zigzag. My zigzag's all the way up. I can turn my stitches all the way up and I get a big zigzag. And it goes very fast. You can mess with all of these individually. So this is how long a step it's taking. This is the zigzag. How to go in reverse. That's this lever right here. You're stitching along and then you get to the end of your project and you want to back stitch it. You're probably stitching, not basting. And then you push this up. And as long as you have that up, it will go backwards. And when you let it down, it will go forward. This knob down here at the bottom, this is if you want the feed dogs. I have to pick this up to show you. If you want the feed dogs up, you have it on this with the zigzag. But there, the feed dogs are down now, so I can free motion. If I'm trying to sew, the fabric will not move on its own. I'm going to have to pull it, which means you don't want to press your foot like this on there because it holds the fabric. It needs those feed dogs to move it. So you need to always keep it. Let's keep it up. Push this back up. You want to have it so that the feed dogs are up. See how they came up? You want the feed dogs up. Let's do a buttonhole. Buttonholes are pretty simple. So you want to use, this is where we have our buttonhole, as I showed you earlier. You're going to make the stitching all the way as small as it would go without being in reverse. So that is as small as it'll go. You want to take and put it on the 1. Press your foot down and away we go. You want to do it the length of your button, maybe just a titch beyond on either side. And then once you change this dial, you'll need to make sure your needle is out of the hole. Otherwise you'll bend it and you'll have to change the needle again. Okay, and I push it over to 2. This will do the tack at the bottom, and then you don't need to do that very much. And then we're going to push it over to 3, and now we're supposed to sew backwards. And there's a little button that once you get to 3, you can pop it in reverse and it'll stay there. Now, since this is not an automatic machine, you're going to have to watch your stitches and try and make sure that they're parallel and they stop at the same time as your other row did. You go very slow to the end. I'm going to make sure my needle is out again, and I'm going to go to 4, and that should pop me back out of reverse because I for sure don't want to be in reverse now. And this is going to tack a little bit forward. And then 5 will just give you some stitches along that side to kind of finish off the buttonhole that is proper. And there we go. We got a proper buttonhole out of this antique machine. It really wasn't that hard to do. Then turn it back to 0 and put it back at 2.5, and you're ready to start. Oh, change your foot. I had the button foot on. It's a little bit fatter. You can do it with the regular foot. It's just there's a little bit more of a window there to see. The hole is a little bit bigger there to see. Now I'm going to show you how to work these dials on the top. When I first tried to figure out these stitches here, I thought this had to be in a certain position, and that's just all not true, because you can still control your stitch length and width when you have these stitches. This notch, however, has to go over there. Did you hear it click? That means it's in these settings now, and I can move this around. So then I'm going to pick a stitch. I only have 5. The 830s have 20. I only have 5, and I'm going to pick this. Let's do the wavy line, which is my number 2 stitch. Now, when you do this, sometimes you can think, oh, it's not working because it didn't work. When you're doing odd stitches, your stitch width has to change. If it stays at 0, yep, it's just going to give you a straight stitch. So look, even though I have all that set, it's still giving me a straight stitch. Now, once I change my stitch width, watch. Now, all of a sudden, we're stitching in a curvy line, like the dial says. So if yours is not working, it may not just be broken, it may just be that you forgot to do this. I cannot tell you how many times I have done that. All right, I'm going to switch the stitch again, but I always make sure my needle is out. Let's put it on the second one, which is your blind hem stitch. Notice the blind hem there, just the little catch. And if I was to shorten the stitch length, it would look a lot better. See how much better that looks as a blind hem? I do have a blind hem foot, but I'm not illustrating how to do a blind hem on this. I'm just showing how to use this style. So needles out, we can do another function. Let's go all the way up to the top. And this is sort of the same thing, except for it's just the other way. If you can't figure it out, or your seams need to go one way or the other, that's the opposite. 5 is the opposite of 1. And now I'm trying number 3. And it looks kind of, well, let's see. Yep, just like that. And I can actually make it longer, and it'll be easier for you to see. See, that's what it looks like. This is it stitch length shorter, this is it longer. You can make it wider, just like we did with the zigzag. You can make it really wide, or you can make it really narrow, not all the way to 0. So it's barely perceptible when you do it like that. But that's how you use the different stitches on the top of the machine. When you're done, you put it back at 0, put this back to the zigzag, and you're ready to start sewing straight stitch again. I would not recommend sewing straight stitch with it left out over there. Your cams and that will wear down. It's hard on the machine. If you're sewing straight, then try and make sure that you have all your settings where it should be. So if you watch this needle and this dial right here, when I turn it all the way to the right, to the left, this needle is going to go all the way to the left. See that? But there's actually a position that is just a bit left, which is right there. It's kind of difficult and fishy to feel it in there, but it's there. And then we're back to center. You also can do the same on the right. You can go all the way right, and then there is a stage that is just a bit right. So you actually have 5 needle positions. You have 2 left, a center, and 2 right. You can find some really good old machines. They don't have to be Bernina. It could be Kenmore. There's a lot of these heavy duty sewing machines that are just really, really well built and should not be thrown away and are well worth $10. Thanks for watching. This is the end of my 4-part series. If you have more questions, please place them below or send me an email. I try to get back with people as quick as I can. So comment below or send me an email at thebluekeystone@yahoo.com. And I hope you enjoyed the series. Happy sewing, guys. Thanks for watching.